Feel better's back. We're gonna close out with this last segment. I asked the AI, I asked it, tell me which fungi lives as a parasite in the microbiome. For me, this is where it gets really personal because when I learned about this fungi parasite, this fungus, every time I think about fungus, I think about that movie, The Blob, from back in the days when I was a youngster growing up in Brooklyn, New York, and that movie terrified me. Okay, to think that there's a substance that, on its own, could take over you and eat on you like a parasite. It's scarier stuff, obviously, that we know about now. But when I think of fungus, like that's the scariest from my childhood. But fungi is an interesting. It's not the same as plants. Plants, their cellular structure is very different from fungi in the sense that their DNA is building them up to turn them into an actual physical plant that interacts with the sun, uses photosynthesis, outputs a fruit or something like that, has roots where it needs water. Like it's a whole complex organism, a plant. Not to take anything away from fungus, but fungus is like the cells aren't even structured like that. Like their cells are structured to form a more complex structure called mycelium, where they just basically grow like the blob. And whatever environment they're in, they'll reproduce. And their whole strategy is to decay organic matter. So just like the blob would snatch people and just hold them in position and just decay them in real time, fungi will take waste matter in the environment, not necessarily waste initially. It could just be like a banana on the ground that no one ate. No, a monkey didn't eat it, or another animal left it there. But the fungus can eat the waste after it decays a little bit. Now you got this wasted rotten banana. The fungus can then consume that material, and as it decays, convert it into food for itself, and then it reproduces and it gets bigger. So then it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it forms this mycelium network. And if it's doing that in your body, my gosh. So what AI came back and said is there's a parasitic threat known as Candida albicans, Candida for short. It says while there are many fungi in the gut, collectively called the microbiome, Candida is the one that most frequently shifts from a harmless resident to an aggressive parasite. Because once it keeps growing and growing, your immune system is supposed to keep all of these entities in check, from bacteria to viruses to fungi. But this particular fungi, Candida, it does something known as the Jekyll and Hyde behavior. So let's break that down. In a healthy gut, Candida exists as a harmless yeast cell. It lives quietly in small numbers alongside the bacteria. So, they coexist. It doesn't create any symptoms. It's kept checked by your immune system. And actually, it's beneficial bacteria. Excuse me, it stays in check by beneficial bacteria, which out competes it for food and space. So when you have healthy bacteria in your tube, your microbiome, the fungus is in itself kept in check. But when that environment changes due to antibiotics or high sugar diets or even stress, the candida undergoes a physical metamorphosis. It changes shape from a round yeast cell into an elongated filament capable of invasion. Let me tell you, that sounds scary to me, especially when you understand, like when you see how fungus works. So, how it acts like a parasite. Once candida overgrows, it exhibits classic parasite behavior: invasion, leaky gut creation, biofilm armor. It hijacks the gut brain. Remember, we talked about that earlier, the gut brain itself. it hijacks it and causes you to have more sugar cravings so that you can feed it more, because obviously it's gotten bigger inside of you, so it wants more food. So now it's going to start sending craving signals to your actual brain through your gut brain. Think about that. That's parasitic. And then it also creates brain fog. It's like dumbing you down to eat more sugar, and you don't even question what's going on. So it says in summary, while technically classified as an opportunistic pathogen, Candida functions as a parasite because it damages the host tissue, steals your nutrients, and dumps toxic waste into your system. So that tube we're talking about. And then here's the crazy part about it. It can actually break through the tube itself and enter the bloodstream and start expanding itself throughout your whole body. That's some scary stuff right there. So, a huge part of restoring gut health isn't just adding good bacteria, but actively suppressing this fungal overgrowth so the gut wall can heal. So that's where you're actively going after candida. So I mean, when I learned about this and layer that on top of what I learned about the microbiome, the actual gut brain, the organ that we didn't learn about in grade school or elementary school or middle school or high school, for me, even college, I was like, whoa, this is definitely life transforming information. Like, I could just take this and run with it for myself and not share it, but I'm like, yeah, this is information I got to share with my family and my extended family. This is imperative that they overstand this feel better information. So this company, LifeVantage, I want to close on this note. This company, LifeVantage, is bringing this information to the forefront, obviously because they have a solution for this. They're ahead of the curve. And so when you come across a company like that, that is bringing new information aggressively to the community, and you look at their product and they're saying, well, this is our approach to addressing what could potentially be a very serious issue in the world, you can go after what would be sick people who are having a whole bunch of symptoms and say, hey, sick people, here's a solution for you. Which a lot of times, you don't want to use the wrong language, like I said in the beginning. I'm not telling you this is a cure. I'm not saying it's going to take away your sickness, because there's layers and layers and layers upon illness you could be experiencing. It could be anything from a bacterial infection to fungi. It could be inflammation. We don't know how far the fungus has gone in your body. So a lot of things could be broken now. This isn't like a one-all fix-all. I'm not saying that I'm even in the capacity to give you any medical advice, because I'm not. But definitely take this information, this scientific information, and research it yourself. And if you want assistance on how to research it, I have a program within the Feel Greater ecosystem. Just like we have Feel Better, I have Feel Wiser. And I'll be happy to walk you through that. So on the last part of this, I'm going to actually show you how to access that program. The same way you would access Feel Better, go to Info, Programs, and choose Feel Wiser. Now, when you get to the Feel Wiser screen, scroll down, you should see something there that says Schedule a Feel Wiser AI consultation. Click that, get on my schedule, and I'll be happy to walk you through how to use AI to get the answers to the right questions you're going to ask about your microbiome. And make sure that when you talk to AI, you talk to them about LifeVantage. And it'll clear up any things you might have heard in the social world about, whether LifeVantage is this or LifeVantage is that. I'm not going to get into that for the sake of time, but definitely ask AI to tell you more about LifeVantage, the company, so you can have some history about it. You can see that they're a publicly traded company, and it's in your best interest to have a high quality product on the market. Finally, I'll close with saying that I want to show gratitude to the LifeVantage team that introduced me to the science, introduced me to the product. Within the last 2 months, I've experienced their multiple products. And like I said in one of the intros, I released 5 books. I'm working on the 6th one now. So it's been a blessing for me using their products. So peace and love. I'm gonna let you go. I'm out of here.